Okay. Now we will solve numericals on Gauss's law. Okay. First one, exercise 1.16. What is the net flux of uniform electric field of exercise 1.15 through a cube? That means we have to take a bit data from exercise 1.15 problem. There we have studied uniform electric field is 3 into 10 to the power of 2 I cap something value we have seen in the previous problem, that we have to use here, data related to uniform electric field through a cube of side 20 centimeter, and that is oriented so that its faces are parallel to the coordinate planes. Okay, faces are parallel. So that means I will draw here a cube. Okay, this is a cube of side 20 centimeter. See, it is in the field of uniform electric field. Okay, now they are asking flux, net flux. Through this cube we have to find. See, regarding flux, we have to remember 2 points. That is, the first one, outward flux is positive, and second one, inward flux is negative. This is important point. Okay. So if you take this, see, even no need to know the value of uniform electric field here, because here the flux is inward for this face, the face which is facing towards the field, that is inward flux, and the number of lines passing through this face are equal to number of field lines coming out of this face. That means inward flux is equal to outward flux. Okay. So inward flux is negative, outward flux is positive. So that's why net flux is 0. Net flux is 0. Inward flux equal to outward flux. Okay. So that means it is very easy to say, if the charge does not exist inside the given surface, okay, if the charge is outside or in a uniform electric field means, see, which charge is producing this field, we don't know. Okay, that means I can say comfortably there is no charge lies inside the cube. Okay, if you imagine this cube is a Gaussian surface, charge does not exist inside. That means electric flux due to any charge which is located outside the Gaussian surface, its flux is 0. For example, see, here it is a Gaussian surface, a sphere. If I take a charge q here, then this is a point charge, it produces a spherical electric field. So one of the field line goes like this, another field line, see, here it is entering and it is leaving here. So net flux due to this field line is 0. So the number of field lines which are passing through this surface are entering as well as leaving. So that's why flux, net flux through this Gaussian surface is 0 due to this charge. Okay, this is very important. For example, we know dipole. If we place the dipole inside, that means this is a positive charge and this is a negative charge, equal magnitude but opposite in sign. If you place the dipole inside, see this charge produces electric field outwards. Field due to positive charge is outwards. So this is outward flux, but field due to negative charge is inward. So that's why this is inward flux. So outward flux is equal to inward flux you will get. Or else if you apply the basic concept of flux, that is net charge enclosed divided by epsilon naught. Here you see net charge of the dipole is 0 divided by epsilon naught. So flux becomes 0. Sometimes even flux becomes 0 when charge is present inside. If the net charge is 0, no doubt the flux passing through this Gaussian surface becomes 0. Next problem, 1.17. Careful measurement of the electric field at the surface of a black box indicates that the net outward flux through the surface of the box is 8 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. See here, net outward flux. Net outward flux means maybe within that black box how many charges exist, it is immaterial for me. But finally flux is outward means inside the box net charge is positive, that we can say. Okay, then first question is, what is the net charge inside the box? Net charge inside the box, we have decided it is a positive charge because here outward flux is there. That I can calculate with very easily by using expression phi is equal to charge enclosed divided by epsilon naught. This is charge enclosed. So this black box may be enclosed by few positive and few negative charges, maybe. But because of the flux is outward, the net charge enclosed by the black box is positive. Okay, flux already we know here, that is 8 into 10 to the power of 3, that is equal to net charge Q net divided by epsilon naught. See, epsilon naught value we can calculate from 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 to the power of 9. If you want epsilon naught value, you have to do 1 by 4 pi into 9 into 10 to the power of 9. If you simplify this, you will get epsilon naught value is 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. See, unit for this is Newton meter square per coulomb, but epsilon naught is coming here, so epsilon naught we have to take here and this will come to denominator. Then it will be coulomb Newton inverse meter inverse square or coulomb per Newton meter square. Okay, now I know epsilon naught value, that I will substitute here, that is 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Then net charge, if you simplify, you will get 0.7 microcoulomb. If you multiply these two, you will get 70800 you will get. This is 8000 into something. Here I have 10 to the power of minus 12. So 0.7 into 10 to the power of minus 6 you will get. 0.7 into 10 to the power of minus 6. 10 to the power of minus 6 can be written as micro. So that's why net charge is 0.7 microcoulomb. Second part of this question. If the net outward flux through the surface of the box were 0. Here in this problem they have asked outward flux is something value. But if you imagine outward flux is 0, they are saying. If it is 0, could you conclude that there were no charge inside the box? They are saying outward flux is 0 means, that means flux is 0 means, inside there is no charge they are saying. That means, we have discussed in the previous problem, if you place a dipole inside, net flux through the surface is 0 because net charge is 0. Flux is not there through this Gaussian surface means it doesn't mean no charge is present inside. Here actually charges are there, but net charge is 0. Okay. So that's why if the net outward flux through the surface of the box were 0, could you conclude that there were no charge inside the box? So I'll say no. Even in the presence of charges, sometimes if the net charge is 0, flux becomes 0. One of the reason is no doubt if there is no charge in the Gaussian surface, there is no flux. But even in the presence of charges also flux becomes 0. That case is there. So that's why for this question I will say answer no. Why or why not they are asking. See, if even in the presence of charges inside the Gaussian surface, if the net charge is 0, then flux becomes 0. Another problem 1.18. A point charge plus 10 microcoulomb is at a distance 5 centimeters above the center of the square of side 10 centimeter as shown in figure. See this figure, this is a square which is at the bottom. This is the bottom of the square. From center the charge is located 5 centimeter above the center. From the center it is above here. What is the magnitude of electric flux through the square? This question you have to understand. What is the magnitude of electric flux through the square? They are asking what is the magnetic flux passing through this square. For example, see this. Imagine this is a square. From its center it is somewhere here. So this charge produces, it's a point charge, it produces a field in all directions in a spherical. Okay, so very few amount of electric field lines only passing through this square face. Rest will flow in space. Okay, so that means what I am doing here, I will imagine a cube here. See, this is very important if we can able to create a symmetry for this charge. For example, you imagine this is the bottom face of the square. From its center at a distance 5 centimeters we have a charge Q. If I place one more square here, if I place a square, 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 you will get a cube. Just imagine yourself. This is the bottom face of the cube. If you can replace remaining 5 faces of same area 10 by 10, you will get a cube. This charge will be at the center of the cube. So that means we have a symmetry. See, we know within the Gaussian surface, if you place a charge, for example, see here, this is a sphere I have taken. If it is at the center, then obviously if we can divide this into any number of pieces symmetrically, doesn't matter. Flux through this area and flux through this area and flux through this area, flux through this area is same. Because charge is at the center. Because here we have a symmetry. For example, if you displace this charge, for example here, then I know, see this half of the sphere have more field lines. This half of the hemisphere have less field lines. Because this charge is close to this surface, far away from this surface. Okay, field lines passing through this area and this area are not same. But here we have a symmetry. Charge is at the center of the cube. How many faces we have for cube? 6 faces. They are asking flux through one face or one square they are asking. So that's why in Gauss's law also can be written as flux phi is equal to given surface area divided by total surface area into charge enclosed divided by epsilon naught. This charge is charge enclosed only. Okay, so flux phi is equal to, now I need to calculate flux through this square. We know square area is a square. This is correct, no? Divided by total surface area of cube is 6a square. So a square cancel. Q divided by epsilon naught. So flux phi is equal to Q by 6 epsilon naught. This I have to calculate now. This you have to remember. See, if the flux through entire surface, entire Gaussian surface, if they ask, we'll write Q by epsilon naught only. If they ask flux through partial area, that partial surface area will write in the numerator and will write total surface area of the body in the denominator, then you will get flux through this partial surface area. So that's how I wrote, and I got it is Q by 6 epsilon naught. So the value of Q, charge, 10 microcoulomb charge is placed. So that's why this is 10 into 10 to the power of minus 6 divided by 6 times epsilon naught value just now. Epsilon naught value is 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. You have to simplify this to get flux phi. Simplify. See, if we simplify here, this is 10 to the power of minus 5. This 10 to the power of 12 comes to numerator, it will become plus 12. Here I have 10 power minus 5. That means still 10 power minus 7 is left. Sorry, plus 7 left. So here see, this is 10 into 10 power minus 6 is 10 power minus 5. If 10 power minus 12 comes to numerator, it will become 10 to the power of plus 12. Plus 12 minus 5, you will get plus 7. Now I have to do 1 by 6 into 8.85. This value is 0.0188. See here, if you multiply 10 power 4 here, you will get 188 into 10 to the power of 3. Here we have calculated flux. So flux unit is 188 into 10 to the power of 3. Unit for flux is Newton meter square per coulomb. Next, 1.19. A point charge of 2 microcoulomb is at the center of a cubical Gaussian surface, 9 centimeter on side. What is the net electric flux through the surface? That means here they are asking flux through the entire cube. So flux phi is equal to, I can say that is simply Q by epsilon naught. Okay, you are asking entire cube. So there no need to worry about the position of the charge inside the Gaussian surface. Okay, charge is here 2 microcoulomb, 2 into 10 to the power of minus 6 and divided by 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. If you simplify this, you will get 2.2 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton meter square per coulomb. See, if you see in NCERT answers, maybe 1.18 and 1.19 answers you have to interchange. Okay, 1.19 answer is given at 1.18 and 1.18 answer is given at 1.19. So here there is no ambiguity because they are asking entire cube. Easy. Simply we will do like this. In the previous case they have asked about only flux through the square. Square is the portion of an imaginary cube. So that's why partial surface area flux we need to calculate there. There we have used phi is equal to S by S naught. S is partial surface area. S naught is total surface area of a Gaussian surface. Next problem is 1.20. A point charge causes an electric flux minus 1 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter square per coulomb. See, that means flux is negative. Flux is negative means inward flux. Inward flux. Okay. To pass through a spherical Gaussian surface of 10 centimeter radius centered on the charge. That means this is 10 centimeter radius Gaussian spherical surface. Charge is kept at the center. Charge is at the center. Radius is 10 centimeter. Here flux is inward. Flux is inward. That means this charge is negative. Negative charge lies inside the Gaussian surface. That is our first conclusion. Okay. Next. First question. If the radius of the Gaussian surface were doubled, how much flux would pass through the surface? That means I'll imagine a sphere of radius 20 centimeter now. See, flux through any Gaussian surface formula is charge enclosed divided by epsilon naught. Charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface and this Gaussian surface is same. So flux will be remains the same through both the Gaussian surfaces. That is what they have given, 10 to the power of 3 with a negative sign. That indicates charge inside the Gaussian surfaces are negative charge. Okay. Yesterday we have already explained the flux through the Gaussian surface is independent of the shape and size. Based on that concept, we can say here flux through both the surfaces is the same. If radius of the Gaussian surface is changed, flux through that Gaussian surface will not change. So flux remains the same. Flux is 10 to the power of 3 with a negative sign. Newton meter square per coulomb for both the surfaces. Okay. Second part, B question. What is the value of point charge lies inside? They are asking. This I have to calculate. That means I have to use the same formula. So flux is given negative. So minus 10 power 3 is equal to net charge inside. I'll say Q divided by epsilon naught value is 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Is that okay? So charge Q is equal to minus 10 power 3 into 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. See, this minus 12 cancels this plus 3 by 10 to the power of minus 9 times. So that means the charge Q is equal to minus 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 9. Charge unit is coulomb. 10 to the power of minus 9 is also called as nano. So that's why charge is minus 8.85 nano coulomb. Charge inside this spherical Gaussian surface is minus 8.85 nano coulomb. Next one is 1.21. A conducting sphere of 10 centimeter radius has unknown charge. If the electric field 20 centimeters from the center of the sphere is 1.5 into 10 power 3 Newton per coulomb and points radially inward. That means here we have one sphere of radius 10 centimeter, but we don't know the charge, net charge present on this sphere. But what I know, if the electric field is 20 centimeters from the center of the sphere, from the center of the sphere if you go 20 centimeter, here I know electric field is 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton per coulomb. But this electric field is pointing radially inward. So everywhere, if you take this 20 centimeter as a Gaussian radius, if you construct a Gaussian surface is also a sphere, then the field will be radially inward. Field will be radially inward like this. So if electric field is ending here, see this is important. Inside So this is radius, no. So that's why I have represented the line is up to here. Here we should not represent. Okay. For the better understanding purpose, just I have represented. This is also I have represented radius. Okay. These two have represented radii, that why it is extended towards center like that, it is appearing here. But here it should not show. Here field will end here only. Field will be end here. So field will be radially inwards up to the surface, because conducting sphere. In case of conducting spheres, charge resides only on the outer surface. Field lines will be perpendicular to the surface. We have already studied all these points in properties of electric field lines. Electric field lines never passes inside the gauze, inside the metal surface, metal sphere. This is only, we can call it as a technical name, electrostatic shielding. Electric field never exists inside. That you have to remember. For better understanding purpose, here I am showing various field lines which are terminating on the surface. So that means field is inward, means obviously this sphere contains negative charge. How much amount of negative charge present on this surface we will see now. Okay. So by using Gauss law, I will solve this. Here we know electric field at 20 centimeters from the center of the sphere. That means electric field I know at a point outside the sphere. We know electric field expression at any point outside, that is E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by small r square. Here capital R is the radius of the sphere. Point is at a distance small r from the center. Small r is greater than capital R. That's why I'll say point is outside the sphere. Outside the sphere we have a formula E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. I know electric field. It is radially inwards. Okay. Due to negative charge. But it is a vector. No need to take sign. So that's why 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3 is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9. I want to calculate charge on the surface of the sphere divided by distance. Here they have given 2. Students may confuse which one I have to take. It is very clear, we know electric field here. So that's why this distance I have to take. This is 20 centimeter. So that's why 20, I need to convert centimeters into meters and will write square. Say this is 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3 divided by 9 into 10 to the power of 9. This if you simplify here, 20 into 10 power minus 2 is 2 into 10 power minus 1. Whole square comes to numerator. So that's why that is 4 into 10 to the power of minus 2 only. Okay, that is we have to do 1.5 into 4 divided by 9. You will get Q is equal to this whole value. You will get 0.6666. So I have terminated at 0.67. And now I have to simplify powers. This is 10 power 3. This is 10 power minus 2. You will get 10 power 1. 10 power minus 9 plus 9 goes to numerator. You will get minus 9. That's why it can be written as 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. This one even I can write it as 6.7 into 10 to the power of minus 9 coulomb. Then it can be written as 6.7 nano coulomb. This much amount of negative charge lies. Remember why we have taken their negative sign, because field is radially inward. That's why charge is negative. Next one is 1.22. A uniformly charged conducting sphere of 2.4 meter diameter has a surface charge density 80 microcoulomb per meter square. Then First question will be, I have to calculate, find the charge on the sphere. I have to calculate charge on the sphere. Next, what is the total flux leaving the surface of the sphere? Both I have to calculate. So first we'll see. Here I have a sphere of diameter. This is the diameter, is 2.4 meter. That means radius is 1.2 meter. It contains a charge density. That means charge lies here. Charge lies on the surface. And by seeing the unit, we can identify which charge density is given in the problem. This is per meter square. That means surface charge density. Charge density is given, sigma is equal to 80 microcoulomb per meter square. See, first I need to calculate, find the charge on the sphere. Charge on the sphere can be calculated by using this charge density expression. Charge density is equal to Q by A. Here Q divided by A is surface area of the sphere. Surface area of the sphere is 4 pi capital R square. So charge density is 80 into 10 to the power of minus 6. And charge I need to find 4 pi. Radius is 1.2 meter, 1.2 whole square. So this is Q is equal to 80 into 10 to the power of minus 6 into 4 pi into 1.2 whole square. Okay, Q is equal to, see here, 80 multiplied by 4 multiplied by pi 3.14 multiplied by 1.2 into 1.2. This total value is 1.44, sorry, total value is 1446 into 10 power minus 6. That means it is 1.446 into 10 to the power of minus 3 coulomb. This is the charge. Now I need to calculate flux through the surface. Flux according to Gauss's law, flux phi is equal to charge enclosed divided by epsilon naught. I will take Gaussian surface of my own choice, no problem here. So flux phi is equal to charge is 1.446 into 10 to the power of minus 3 divided by 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Okay. If we take 10 to the power of minus 12 to numerator, you will get plus 12. Plus 12 and minus 3. If you simplify, you will get 10 to the power of plus 9. This is 10 power 9. And the remaining value we have to simplify, that is 1.446 divided by 8.85. That is 0.163 into 10 to the power of 9. That means flux phi is equal to 1.63 into 10 to the power of 8. Because 10 I have multiplied here. So this is Newton meter square per coulomb. This much of flux passes through the surface. Next problem, 1.23. An infinite line charge produces a field of 9 into 10 to the power of 4 Newton per coulomb at a distance of 2 centimeter. Calculate the linear charge density. That means this is infinite. Hence we don't know charge lies positive or negative, it is immaterial. Electric field direction is not mentioned, so I have taken positive charge at a distance 2 centimeter. That means here. We know that electric field is 9 into 10 to the power of 4 Newton per coulomb. Then we need to calculate the linear charge density. We know electric field at any point due to linear charged conductor of infinite length. Electric field E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught R. E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. Okay, so electric field is 9 into 10 to the power of 4. I want to calculate linear charge density. Distance I know, that is 2 centimeter. So 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2. But I know 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is 9 into 10 to the power of 9. Okay, now 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is 9 into 10 to the power of 9. I want 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught, that means to send this side you will get 18 into 10 to the power of 9. So that's why this 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught value I will write here 18 into 10 to the power of 9. Okay, I want to calculate linear charge density. So that is 9 into 10 to the power of 4 multiplied by 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 divided by 18 into 10 to the power of 9. 9 2s are 18 cancel. If 9 goes to numerator, it will become minus. Okay, that means this is 10 power minus 9 and to 10 power minus 11. Minus 11 plus 4, you will get 10 power minus 7. So 10 power minus 7. Linear charge density unit is Coulomb per meter. Okay, next problem 1.24. Two large means infinite, thin metal plates are parallel and close to each other. On their inner faces, the plates have surface charge densities of opposite sign and of magnitude 17 into 10 to the power of minus 22 Coulomb per meter square. What is the electric field? And first question, in the outer region of first plate. Second one, in the outer region of second plate. Third one, between the plates. First we will see. See the front view of the plate I have drawn. Usually plate will be like this. Okay, but I am not representing this part. This is a plate which is in YZ plane. This is second plate. This is also in YZ plane. But they will have a charge density 17 into 10 to the power of minus 22. But they are opposite sign. That means one is a positive charge density, another one is negative charge density. This is very important. On their inner faces, the plates have surface charge densities of opposite sign. That means one is positive charge density, another one is negative charge density. And magnitude, okay, we know. Now I need to calculate electric field. Okay, this is positive charge density, means here charge is positive. See, this is not a linear conductor, don't misunderstand this. This is a plate, that too thin plate, thin metal plate. That means electric field produced by a thin plates are uniform electric field. Electric field at any point due to thin plates is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Electric field is independent of distance. These are all very key points to solve this problem. First I will solve this one. In the outer region of first plate, if I take this is the first plate, then I have to select a point here. This is outer region of first plate. See, wherever I want to calculate electric field, there I have to imagine unit positive charge. See, electric field due to positive plate is, electric field is always from positive charge to negative charge. That means electric field due to positive plate is outwards. So this is electric field due to positive plate. This value is sigma by 2 epsilon naught, we have already learned. This is negative plate. Electric field will be inward for the negative charge. That means electric field due to negative plate at this point is this direction, because this negative plate attracts the positive charge. This positive plate repels this unit positive charge. So electric field here also sigma by 2 epsilon naught. That means magnitudes equal, direction is opposite, so cancel. Net electric field at any point outside the first plate is 0. Okay, this is answer for A. Answer for B. In the outer region of second plate, that means here I have to imagine a unit positive charge. Negative plate attracts, positive plate repels. See here, this point is close to negative plate. This point is far away from positive plate, even though electric fields are same due to negative plate as well as positive plate, because these plates are the sources of uniform electric field. Electric field at any point due to positive charge plate is same everywhere. That's why this is electric field due to negative plate. This is electric field due to positive plate. Both are equal and opposite. Cancel. So here net electric field again 0. Now I need to answer between the plates. So I'll select a point somewhere here. I have to imagine here unit positive charge. Positive plate repels, negative plate attracts. Both are in the same direction. So net electric field will be sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma by 2 epsilon naught. That is, electric field is sigma by epsilon naught. And moreover, you have to understand the electric field at any point in this inner region is uniform. Its value is sigma by epsilon naught. So here A0, B0. So that's why I'll write 0, 0. But between the plates I'll get answer, some numerical value, sigma by epsilon naught. Sigma value I know, that is 17 into 10 to the power of minus 22 Coulomb per meter square, divided by epsilon naught value is 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. That means electric field E is equal to minus 12 goes to numerator plus 12. So 10 power minus 10. 17 by 8.85 I have to calculate is 1.92 Newton per Coulomb. Last problem 1.14. If you see, here they have given two plates. These are also plates. Here they have given charge on this plate is positive. Here charge on this plate is negative. That means electric field is always begins on positive charge and ends on negative charge. That means electric field is uniform electric field. This is very important. You have to realize the direction of electric field. Electric field will be like this. Now three charged particles are moving in this direction. So when a charged particle enters into a uniform field, charged particle starts experiencing force. Positive charge experiences force in the direction of electric field. Negative charge experiences force opposite to the direction of electric field. For a first charged particle, they have given direction is like this. That means it is deflecting this side. That means this is positive plate attracts the negative charge. That means first one is negative charge. Second one is also deflected like this. That means that is also negative charge. But the third one is deflected like this. That means the third charge is positive because repelled by positive plate and attracted by negative plate. That means by seeing the direction of motion of the charged particles, I can confirm the polarity of the charged particle. Negative experienced force in this direction, that's why it went like this. See, in case of a projectile, gravitational force is acting downward, but if you throw a particle horizontal, it will traces a path like this. Okay, particle moves in the direction of force in a parabolic path. This is also a parabolic path only. This is how they have shown. By seeing the direction of deflection, I have confirmed the nature of the charge. Also they have asked in case of which charge? Charge to mass ratio is large. See here in the problem they are not discussed much about the magnitude of charge present on the 3 charged particles. That's why I will take charge is constant. Okay. Usually deflection will be large for less mass particles. This you have to always remember. Okay. That means third charged particle is deflected more. That means third charged particle mass is less. Denominator is less, means whole value is large. So that's why third particle have charge to mass ratio is more compared to 1 and 2 because their degree of deflection is less. Degree of deflection depends on mass. For example, see someone is thrown a tennis ball, you will easily deflect with a bat. If someone thrown a metal spherical ball towards you, if you hit your bat will break and ball will go this side only. That means deflection is difficult in case of heavier masses.